Have you ever woken up with the feeling that you spent the night somewhere else, as if you had lived a second life while your body rested here? Maybe you have smelled scents you never experienced, spoken with people you don't know, or awakened with tears in your eyes over something that rationally never happened. What if I told you that this is not just a deep sleep daydream? What if Chico Xavier already knew that certain spirits linked to 4 specific zodiac signs actually cross the limits of the physical world and live experiences in the spiritual plane every night? Yes, that's right. While many merely sleep, some travel between 2 worlds and return bringing messages, omens, and invisible healings. But what is so special about these 4 signs? Among the 12 paths of the zodiac, only 4 have this direct connection with the invisible. The answer may lie far beyond traditional astrology. Chico Xavier showed us that the birth chart is more than a psychological self-knowledge tool. It is also a spiritual key capable of revealing the soul's missions, mediumistic gifts, and open doors between dimensions. We're not talking about magazine horoscopes, but a deep vision where the stars dialogue with spirits and dreams. These are not fantasies but psychographed letters. Chico spoke of young mediums who unknowingly worked on the other side during sleep, people who woke up exhausted, inexplicably, with vague memories of spiritual hospitals, schools of light, or meetings with loved ones. And the most curious thing is that most of them were born under the same 4 signs, and as if these signs were summoned, or rather, chosen to fulfill a dual mission, one on earth and another in the subtle plane. According to Chico, the spirit never sleeps. And for these people, the body's rest is just the beginning of a new journey. Could you be one of these traveling souls? Could it be that while you think you are just resting, you are helping rescue other spirits, learning in higher spheres, or receiving instructions from invisible mentors? Chico said these experiences are not random. They obey a spiritual program, often drawn even before birth. And the signs, as universal archetypes, are clues to this program, those who carry this energy. The energy of these 4 signs tends to have an expanded sensitivity, intense dreams, frequent premonitions, and a constant feeling of belonging to something greater. But beware. This is not about privilege or superiority. These signs are not better than others. They just have specific tasks. And often this sensitivity comes with anguish, emotional confusion, and a constant feeling of tiredness. After all, imagine living 2 realities at the same time, night after night. Chico Xavier explained that these souls need care, silence, prayer, and above all, understanding, because they don't always manage to explain what they live and are often labeled dreamers, distracted, or strange when they are actually just adapting to an expanded existence. Do you know someone like this? Or have you perhaps lived something similar? That kind of dream that seems more real than the day itself. A reunion with someone who left, a clear vision of something yet to happen, or the sensation of being pulled out of your body while you sleep. These are signs, and Chico's teachings show us that ignoring them is wasting a valuable opportunity for spiritual connection. Maybe you don't remember everything upon waking, but your spirit does. And the more you welcome these experiences, the more conscious you can become of the mission you carry. Now, if you already suspect you belong to this group, take a deep breath and pay attention, because in the next few minutes we will reveal which 4 signs cross between the 2 worlds every night. And prepare yourself. Your life might change from here on out. But before that, I invite you to leave in the comments if you have ever had a dream that seemed more real than any waking memory. Your experience can illuminate the path for others, and maybe even confirm that you really are one of these traveling spirits. The first of these signs is Pisces, and it's no coincidence. Chico Xavier already said that Pisceans carry an almost innate connection with the spiritual world. Since childhood, many report vivid dreams, déjà vu sensations, premonitions, and even conversations with invisible presences. They often feel displaced from the physical world, as if they belong to a parallel dimension. For Chico, Pisces is the sign of surrender, compassion, and natural mediumship. During sleep, Pisceans often visit spiritual hospitals, participate in mediumistic meetings, or simply serve as silent messengers between planes. It is as if their soul is authorized to go where few can, to go and come back, bringing something they don't always know how to translate into words. But this sensitivity has a price. Chico warned that Pisceans need to take great care of their energy. Upon waking, they may feel confused, sad, or have emotions they cannot explain. This happens because the spirit, even having fulfilled its nightly task, takes time to fully reintegrate into the physical body. Ideally, they should start the day in silence, with a prayer or a bath to balance frequencies. After all, living between two worlds is not easy. The second sign is Scorpio. Chico Xavier saw in Scorpios a spiritual depth beyond what most can understand. It's not uncommon to see Scorpios having premonitory dreams, spontaneous access to past life memories, or undergoing intense healing processes during sleep. For Chico, these natives are alchemists of the soul who face the dark side of the spiritual plane to purify dense energies, both their own and others, during sleep. It's as if they were sent to places where few could endure being, but they return stronger and wiser, even if they don't remember exactly what they experienced. That is why Scorpios often wake with a tight chest, pains that disappear throughout the day, or feelings that seem to have no origin. Often these marks reflect spiritual battles that happened while the body rested. Chico emphasized the importance of these signs, cultivating spiritual protection practices before sleep: prayers, psalms, lit lights, incense, whatever is necessary to ensure they are surrounded by good vibrations as they cross the invisible veils of reality. The third sign is Cancer. Chico Xavier saw in Cancerians an intense connection with the spirit world, especially with those who have already departed. People of this sign often serve as unconscious channels of communication with deceased loved ones during sleep. It's not rare for them to receive visits, messages, or guidance from these spirits. Chico said many Cancerians act as comforters to lost souls, offering affection, listening, and emotional support even without knowing it consciously. And most impressive, sometimes they wake with phrases, songs, or ideas they don't know where they came from, as if someone whispered in their ear while they slept. This sign carries a mission of spiritual welcome. Therefore, it is fundamental that Cancerians be emotionally balanced before sleeping, since their vibration will be the environment with which spirits interact. Chico recommended creating a small altar with a white candle, an image that brings them peace, and a sincere prayer. This would help keep the environment clean so their nocturnal experiences are smoother and more beneficial. And finally, the fourth sign revealed by Chico is Sagittarius. This may seem curious since Sagittarians are known for their quest for freedom and adventure. But what few know is that in the spiritual plane, this quest manifests as an expansion of consciousness. Chico believed that natives of Sagittarius, when spiritually attuned, can reach elevated states of lucidity during sleep, participating in meetings with mentors, classes in spiritual colonies, and even helping other spirits prepare for reincarnation. They are naturally traveling souls, and not just in this world. Many Sagittarians report dreams of temples, libraries, journeys to impossible places, or meetings with wise figures who teach them truths they had never heard before. Chico said this is a clear sign that their souls are being educated in other spheres during the night. And the more they value these moments with gratitude and intention, the more conscious this journey becomes. Now that you know the four signs that, according to Chico Xavier, cross between the two worlds while they sleep: Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, and Sagittarius, perhaps you will start to see your own dreams differently. And if you are one of these signs, tell us in the comments if you have had such experiences. Your story may awaken others to realities they cannot yet see. But what differentiates these nocturnal spiritual journeys from an ordinary dream? Chico Xavier explained that the difference lies in the vibration of the soul. Ordinary dreams are fragments of the subconscious mind, mixing memories, desires, and fears. The experiences lived by these four signs during sleep are records of the real activity of the spirit in other dimensions. While the body rests, the spirit gently detaches and, in some cases, with full consciousness, is taken to fulfill tasks, receive guidance, or even rescue souls still wandering lost. And although these experiences are not always clear upon waking, they leave marks: a deep sense of mission, a sharp intuition, a certainty whose origin is unknown. Chico said many of these souls have a kind of authorization to travel frequently between worlds, but this authorization is not given by chance. It is earned by merits accumulated over many incarnations. Spirits who dedicated themselves to charity, spiritual study, and moral elevation eventually receive the opportunity to continue serving even while they sleep. And the signs we mentioned: due to their natural energy and emotional tendencies, are the most common among these night servers. But beware, this does not mean that people of other signs cannot have similar experiences. The difference is that, in these 4 cases, the frequency and depth of these experiences are much greater and more intense. According to reports received by Chico Xavier, these night missions can evolve over time. A Piscean who at first only observed may, over the years, begin to interact, assist, or teach. A Scorpio who dreamed of dark places may one day realize they were cleaning those environments with the power of thought. This shows that these experiences are not static. They grow along with the individual's spiritual evolution. That is why Chico encouraged self-knowledge and care of the inner life. The more you work on your peace, ethics, and empathy, the more prepared you will be to understand what you live while you sleep. There is also a fascinating point about these journeys. They are not always solitary. Chico reported through letters, meetings between incarnated people during sleep. Sometimes 2 people who barely know each other here on Earth meet again in the spiritual plane with full awareness, as if they had an ancient bond. And most intriguingly, in many of these cases, both belong to one of the 4 revealed signs, as if there were a silent, invisible network of spirits who recognize each other and work together while the world sleeps. Now imagine how many souls cross paths every night, silently and on missions that will never be reported. How many Cancerians are comforting desperate mothers who have not yet accepted the loss of a child? How many Sagittarians are receiving instructions for future missions that will only make sense years later? How many Pisceans are being trained in subtle planes to perform mediumistic tasks here on Earth? And how many Scorpios, silently, are cleansing the spiritual environment of homes and hospitals, even without knowing? All this happens while their bodies rest, and when they wake up, they bring a sparkle in their eyes, a different kind of tiredness, or the right word said at just the right moment. Perhaps now you wonder, if all this happens to me, why don't I remember? And that is a fair question. Chico Xavier explained that conscious memory of these experiences only happens when the spirit is sufficiently prepared. After all, seeing what happens on the other side can be overwhelming for an unprepared mind. That's why most people only feel the echoes of these travels, inexplicable emotions, sensations of having lived something before, messages arising from nowhere, or even an internal call difficult to ignore. And for Chico, this is already a clear sign that the soul is working, even if the consciousness does not yet know it. But there are ways to approach this awareness. Chico recommended small practices before sleeping. Say a sincere prayer, write a mental letter, asking permission to remember what is useful, keep a dream journal by your bed, and above all, live kindly during the day. Because what you live while awake resonates in what you experience while asleep. If your vibration is high, the spiritual plane responds more clearly, and over time, you may not only remember, but consciously participate in these night journeys. If you identify with all this, share in the comments how your dreams are. If you have had experiences you cannot explain or feel connected to something greater, you may discover that you are part of this silent army of spirits, living in 2 worlds, and that alone changes everything. Perhaps the most exciting part of all this is realizing that the spiritual world is never far away. It intertwines with ours in every thought, every feeling, and especially in the hours we close our eyes and surrender to sleep. Chico Xavier saw in that moment one of the greatest blessings of existence, the chance to, even trapped in matter, touch the sacred with the soul. And when this happens consciously, even if only briefly, life never returns to being the same. We begin to feel that there is a mission behind every gesture, an energy behind every encounter, and an invisible presence silently guiding us. And the most beautiful thing is that it does not matter your religion, your belief, or your level of spiritual knowledge. These experiences do not ask for labels. They happen to those who are ready, to those who seek, to those who allow themselves. The signs, as Chico taught us, are just clues, cosmic indications of the soul's inclinations. But what defines the intensity of spiritual experiences is not the sign itself, but the vibrational frequency you cultivate throughout life. Still, it is undeniable that Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, and Sagittarius possess this open sensitivity, this subtle channel always in tune, as if the universe itself had appointed them guardians between worlds. And that is where the greatest call of this message lies. To recognize that you are not here by chance, that there is a greater purpose behind your emotions, your dreams, and your restlessness. How many times have you felt you knew something without ever having learned it? How many times did you have the impression of receiving a silent warning? How many times have you woken up with a peace you cannot explain, as if someone had embraced you while you slept? Chico Xavier always repeated, "Nothing is by chance," and this applies to every breath of the soul while the body rests. And perhaps now, looking within yourself, you begin to remember not exact images, but old sensations and feelings.